everyone, Drell here. I'm not a YouTuber. This isn't a YouTube channel, so please don't like and subscribe because I don't even know when I'm going to upload videos. I don't have a schedule that I upload to. I just want to share cool stuff with all of you. So this is an Octave mandolin banjo that I finished building about 2 months ago or so. I wanted to create a video and share it with you all, but I've been so busy with work. I built this to use with work, but I haven't used it in any recordings yet, but I will be using it. Some of my work, I'm composing a soundtrack and recording a soundtrack that is going to be primarily all banjo family instruments. I had to create a whole bunch of different banjos to fill in the various voices needed to have interesting dynamic, full dynamic range in that soundtrack. So the parts that I use from this are off the shelf. I got them from other banjos. What I'll do is I'll go on like Facebook Marketplace or Gumtree, which is the Australian version of Craigslist, only with less stabbing, I think, and I get parts, I get banjos that people don't want anymore. You'll often see a lot of like the Rogue, Carrera, you know, this sort of the cheaper, lower end stuff. So I'll pick up a bunch of those cheap banjos and I'll use them for parts so I can build more banjos. This was the interesting part that was difficult to get a hold of, is a gold tone Octave neck. This is an instrument that Gold Tone produced, I think around 2010, 2012, and I think it didn't really land well with musicians. I think people were not, I think people didn't really connect with the marketing, and they didn't connect with the instrument as well. The marketing is refers to the instrument as an Octave, which whenever I tell people that name, they sort of give me a confused, weird look, like what, something about an octopus, right? And so I think that's where the instrument went wrong. So I was able to get a neck, just the neck, and then I assembled the rest of the banjo from sort of, I have a stash of banjos sitting around, so I can just build. If I feel like building something, I can just build it. So this took me about a week to put it all together. You know, I was working on and off. Quite busy with work, you know. So it's got a resonator on there, which, you know, these don't look bad for pretty cheap budget parts. It's quite lightweight, which is all right, you know, it's not a big deal. These are boilerplate pieces. They're not decorative. They're not quite nice or anything. The strings that are on there are typical mandolin strings because I just wanted to see what it would sound like. I'm using a fiber skin 3 from Remo. This is a it's a heavier, thicker skin that generally cuts down on wolf tones, and it tames your higher frequencies, so you have more focus on the mids, which the Octave mandolin really is in that middle sound space there. So this is probably a bit thick for these strings, because I feel now like these strings can be octave mandolin strings. So I used, again, normal mandolin strings on this, and that's generally because octave mandolin strings are heavier for a wood-bodied instrument. If you have thicker strings on a banjo head, it's a thinner resonating surface. You generally, that's where you'll find tonal problems, and you will dampen your sound if you use thicker strings. But if this were a typical mandolin head, you know, like your Mylar or whatever, your frosted, I don't know why I said Mylar, your frosted heads, I originally set this up with the frosted head, and the wolf tones were quite unpleasant. And so I put the fiber skin 3 on here, cut down on the wolf tones. It has a much warmer sound, but now I think the instrument will sound just fine with octave mandolin strings. So in the future, I'll put octave mandolin strings on there. Again, these are just standard mandolin strings on here right now. They're a medium set. I'm not sure you can hear the rattle on there. So the setup for the action is fine. To me, it's ideal. But now the strings themselves are too light gauge, and so I'm not sure if you heard the rattle there. I've let other musicians try this, and the first thing they tried to do is play it with chords as they would a mandolin, and I don't think that's what this instrument excels at. I think this instrument is great for counter melodies and sort of supporting lines there. Because of the doubled courses and the chorus effect, your chords are generally going to buzz. There's going to be very slight differences, in the length between the strings, from the bridge to the nut. You may put slightly different pressure on the strings, you may push them slightly, and that's going to introduce conflicts in the vibrations in the chorus itself. And then that's going to cause rattling and buzzing, and then the only way to sort of deal with that is to crank the action up, and then it becomes unpleasant to play. It's slower to play. So this is an instrument that I feel excels with like lead and counter melody, more supportive role as opposed to playing just bashing out chords. The people that I've let try this, I built 2 of these using gold toe necks. Everyone has said, oh, it rattles. I don't really like it that much. And if you wanted to play chords on that, then I would recommend a tenor banjo. I've got a 4-string, the tenor banjo in my studio, and I could share that with you. I could do a video just comparing the two, because there is quite a significant difference. You would think, oh, it's just the same as a tenor banjo, with 4 strings, but it's quite different. They're totally different in what they excel at and what they're great at. And just having that chorus effect for a lead I think it's just really fantastic, and it's not something that you get anywhere else. You have to play very carefully with this current setup to avoid the rattling and the buzz, but if there were to be heavier strings on here, that would mitigate it a fair bit. So I'm quite happy with this setup. I'll be using it in my studio recordings. I haven't played it at any gigs yet. I haven't played it with my various clubs for music, but maybe I'll bring it to some clubs at some point. And just to see how people think of it, but I would like to switch the strings out before I do that. So yeah, I would suspect that maybe Gold Tone doesn't want me to make an instrument with this neck, because if you look on their website, they've kind of erased, well, they've not kind of, they've erased all trace of the octajo. So to me, it's clear that Gold Tone doesn't want anyone to hear of the octajo, because I think it did not do well for them. And I suspect the reason why that was is just down to the marketing with the name. The octajo, I think, is kind of unappealing. It's off-putting. You really need just strong musicians to champion your instrument. I'm a massive Gold Tone fan. I own a number of Gold Tone instruments, and I just love how quirky and interesting they are. I love the niche instruments that Gold Tone makes. So I want to keep supporting Gold Tone. You can still find a couple of these necks online. If you want to build one of these yourself, you absolutely can. Look online, I'm not going to say, go to eBay and type in octajo neck, because I don't want Gold Tone to try and, like reclaim them and then dispose of all of them. Because I think Gold Tone doesn't want anyone seeing these necks. I think maybe they want to erase all traces of it. But I've built 2 of these. I'm very pleased with the way that they sound. And I think that, well, I'm certain this will sound significantly better once I put octave mandolin strings on here, which are heavier gauge. I just got the standard maple and rosewood capped bridge on there. Just your typical sort of setup. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed having a look at that. If you'd like to hear more, see more, you can comment, let me know. I don't even know if anyone's watching this YouTube channel. I'm so busy with work. I work all day and all night. yeah, very busy. I haven't been able to do many videos. So please don't subscribe. Please don't like the video. Please don't think this is a YouTube channel. But if you want to comment, please feel free. I'll try to check them. Take care, everyone. And you can build one of these yourself. Go online if you're interested and you want to find some parts. Okay, I'll see you around.